Ready?
Yep.
Hello, and welcome to Own Your Retirement. My name is Albert Lalonde from Kaizen Financial Group. If you like more information about what you hear today during our show, give us a call at 586-752-7008 or visit us online at www.kaizenfinancialgroup.com. That's Kaizen, Kaizen. And while at my website, click on the podcast page to check out my past shows and to subscribe to our program on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or Amazon Music. Okay, the expression the best laid plans of mice and men often go awry is attributed to 18th century British poet Robert Burns. Now, I'm not much of a poet, but I like that saying because it reminds us that no matter how much we plan, we can only plan so much. In fact, we must remain nimble and willing to adapt as circumstances change. Now, that notion certainly applies to retirement. Thoughtfully planning for your retirement when it's still years away is a wise move. But the way you think about retirement when you're 40 is probably much different than it will at 60. For example, at 40, you may be adamant that you're going to work until you're 70, the age at which it's not advantageous in terms of the size of your monthly Social Security payment to keep working past that. But once you hit 60, you may think to yourself, you know what? I'm out of here the day I've hit my full retirement age. So, on today's show, we're going to consider some ways that you may be able to move up your retirement date if your circumstances or feelings change. But before we get into that, let me introduce my co host, Tony Shore, who I'm guessing is a big Robert Burns fan. Hey, Tony.
Look at you, Albert, quoting Robert Burns this morning. I mean, I'm more of a Robert Plant guy myself, uh, but
Perfect.
but I do like this topic you have for us.
Hmm.
Obviously, it is really, really important, especially if you want to retire early, to
Right.
have a plan in place. So, where do you want to begin?
Well, let's begin with the U.S. News and World Report article titled Seven Strategies to Bump Up Your Retirement Date. Now, it provides a perspective that I think many of our listeners, well, will find useful. It first notes that by and large, American workers are hoping to retire earlier, not later. Now, that's all well and good, but leaving work as early as possible could have you facing a retirement that could last 30 or even 40 years. And funding a long retirement will require a substantial nest egg, which is something that a surprising number of people simply don't have. Now, an AARP report cited in the article found that a stunning 20% of Americans aged 50 and older don't have any retirement savings at all. And 61% reported that they're worried they won't have enough money to see them through their entire retirement.
Wow. I mean, 20% with no retirement savings to speak
Hmm.
of, and another 61% are worried they won't have enough savings and income. Those are stark numbers.
Oh, they are, Tony. They really are. But if you want to bump up your retirement date, well, there are some things you can do right now to make, well, doing so a little more realistic. And the first strategy is to double check that you're maxing out your employer's 401k match. Now, if it offers one, a typical 401k match would see your employer match a percentage or a dollar to dollar amount of your own plan contribution. So, for example, your employer may offer a 50% match up to the first 6% of your annual salary. Now, in this instance, if you make $75,000 a year, your employer's 50% match would equate to $2,250 a year. Now, making sure you're contributing enough to your 401k to trigger the employer match is important because, as the article makes plain, it's essentially free money. Now, I agree with the financial service professionals in the article who recommends ramping up your 401k or IRA contributions as your income goes up rather than waiting to increase your contributions based on your age. Also, when you turn 50, be sure to discuss making catch up contributions with your financial service professional. Catch up contributions allow those 50 and older to add additional money to a 401k or IRA beyond what their younger counterparts can make, Tony. I lost you.
Uh,
Well, there you go.
you've explained to us before, Albert, on previous shows that those catch-up contributions after you turn 50 can really pack a financial punch, and I think that's important. Can you remind us of some of the limits with some of those retirement accounts?
Yeah, great idea there, Tony. This year, the IRS permits you to defer income taxes on as much as $23,000 that you dedicate to your 401k, 403b, or 457 if you're under 50. Now, if you're over 50, the amount jumps to $30,500.
Wow.
Now, for solo 401ks, the contribution limit is $69,000 plus an additional $7,500 for those 50 and older. Now, for IRAs and Roth IRAs, the 2024 limit is $7,000 or $8,000 if you're 50 or older. Now, remember that with traditional IRA contributions, you don't immediately pay taxes. Instead, your eventual withdrawals will be taxed. But with Roth IRA contributions, you pay taxes up front for tax-free retirement withdrawal. Also, with both accounts, the amount you contribute can't be greater than what you earned.
Yeah, good info here, Albert. And our listeners out there should know that there are several more retirement accounts available. So they need to reach out to you for more details.
Yeah, folks, setting up automatic savings deductions is your next potential strategy move. Automating your savings is a simple way to consistently contribute money to a savings tool of your choice outside of your employer's plan. You set the amount and the money comes out of your paycheck and you don't have to even think about it. Now, work with your financial services professional to determine what retirement, investment, and savings account permit direct deposits. Then set recurring amounts that won't negatively affect your ability to pay your regular monthly bills. And then from a budget standpoint, once you've used, let's say, you're used to this money not funneling into your debt banking account, guess what? You won't even miss it anymore, Tony.
Right. I like doing that.
Mhm.
I never see it. I never miss it.
You got it.
And it's just building up there for me to use later. Well, this has been great. Let's remind our listeners, Albert, how they can get a hold of you if they want to set up a
Yeah.
consultation or have questions about this.
Yeah, listeners, you can visit my website at www.kaizenfinancialgroup.com. That's Kaizen, Kaizen, or call my office at 586-752-7008 and discuss how we can answer your questions and address your concern about your retirement date, your overall retirement goals, or any other elements of your financial strategy.
Right. And today we're talking about potential strategies if you do decide to retire sooner than
Mhm.
you had been planning on. For example, in your 40s, maybe you planned on working until you're 70, but once you turn 60, you decided that you needed to retire for one reason or the other before you reach your full retirement age. So, in order to do that, I know you need to be working with a financial professional like yourself, Albert. What
Yeah.
else do we need to know?
Well, let's go to the U.S. News and World Report article, 7 Strategies to Bump Up Your Retirement Date. Has some more insights I'm eager to share, and the next of which is potentially using your current tax bracket to your advantage with a Roth IRA. So let's say if you're currently in your 30s or 40s, there's a solid chance your household income will rise as you draw closer to retirement. Consequently, those decades are when you'll potentially be in a lower tax bracket for quite some time. So, add in the fact that taxes will increase at the end of 2025 if Congress doesn't extend or adapt the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act of 2017. And it's clear that a strategy session with your financial service professional may be in order. So, taking advantage of your current lower tax bracket now with, let's say, a Roth IRA will supply you with tax-free retirement income decades down the road because you pay the taxes immediately, and then your reinvestment earnings are tax deferred and qualified future withdrawals are, guess what? Tax-free. Now, let me caution here that Roth IRAs aren't an ideal fit for every financial strategy, particularly if there is a chance you could find yourself in a lower tax bracket actually after retirement. But if you're considering a Roth IRA, I want to strongly urge you to discuss it with your financial service professional before making any final decisions.
Yeah, I mean, you should do that before making any big financial decisions.
Hmm.
That's what you're there for. Work with a financial professional like yourself, Albert. And I know you're offering a no charge, no obligation consultation to our listeners out there. So that's really helpful.
Yeah, here, Tony. Nice. But let's go to the next possible strategy. Taking a second job. Yes,
Mm.
I know what you're thinking. A second job? What?
Right,
One's
right.
plenty. Thank you very much. But hear me out, seriously. While taking a second job can certainly drain some of your leisure time, if you're ambitious about retiring early, it may be the way to go. A second job will also come down to your energy level and ability to physically and mentally, have that additional work, but your family situation will also have an effect. So if you have teenagers at home or you're regularly watch your grandkids, a second job may not be doable. And this is yet another potential step that you'll first want to thoroughly discuss with your financial service professional because there may be other options available to you. For example, if let's say you're very close to retirement, say within a year or two, it's possible that some budget adjustments may do the trick instead, or maybe cutting a few expenses, for example. Or if you're an empty nester, perhaps it's time to sell the large family home, move into something that's much smaller, but that still suits your needs and taste, Tony.
Right. On previous shows, you've talked about how some retirees out there take a part time job to do something they really enjoy, a little side hustle
Yeah.
to earn a little extra money. And it seems to
Hmm.
me that it would be the same taking a second job before retirement.
Yep.
Though I agree with you, exploring other options should be part of the conversation as well.
Yes, definitely. But you know what? Like other options could be even paying off your biggest debt source is another possible strategy that could help move up your retirement date. The article goes so far as to recommend clearing all your major household debt minus your mortgage. Now, a simple way to begin this process is to focus first on your high interest debts with larger or multiple payments while paying the minimums on your lower interest debt. Now, once that high interest debt is paid off, you can then dedicate more to your lower interest debt while also maximizing your contributions to your retirement accounts. Now, at this point, you may also want to discuss investing some remaining money in a taxable brokerage account with your financial services professional, who may also be able to suggest solutions for using the extra money you have today to create reliable income during retirement.
Yeah. Well, for sure. And I read a fair amount of financial news. I do read a fair amount of financial news. I hit the websites all the time.
Hmm.
And, but I know that you always present ideas and options that I haven't even heard about before, which is one of my favorite things about working with you.
Yeah, well, thank you for that. And there's a lot of strategy. In fact, your next reasonable strategy move to potentially bump up your retirement date is to re-examine your current insurance products to look for potential savings. The easiest way to save a few bucks while hanging on to insurance products we all need is to leverage affordable group benefits to reduce the cost of unexpected events. So many workers can purchase affordable group benefits for things like, let's say, accidents, critical illness and hospital indemnity insurance through their employer. Often, these plans provide cash benefits during, let's say, an emergency, which could shield you from making a hardship withdrawal from your retirement savings, which is something that could really delay your retirement.
Oh, for sure. And a review of your current insurance coverage is important. It's a good reason, again, to meet with someone like yourself.
Yes, definitely. Now, lastly, the article recommends restructuring your investment portfolio as a final strategy step to potentially move up your retirement date. Wanting to retire earlier than you, let's say, initially expected, it may require a portfolio that combines income growth and safety. Now, if investing is part of your strategy, there may be ways to adjust it that benefits your desire to move up your retirement date. However, I urge you in the strongest terms possible to only invest while working with the financial service professional. The markets offer numerous upsides, but it also comes with many potential dangers. So put an
Yep.
ally in your corner, Tony. That's the key.
Yeah, that is the key. Have an ally like yourself. So before we go today, Albert, let our listeners out there know how they can get a hold of you and set up that no charge, no obligation consultation.
Yeah, folks, if you want to learn more about how to bump up your retirement date, check out my website, www.kaizenfinancialgroup.com. That's Kaizen. Or you can give us a call at 586-752-7008 and discuss how we can answer your questions, address your concerns. Remember, it's our goal to help you prepare for the retirement you've worked hard for so you can own your retirement, folks.
All right. Thanks, Albert. And listeners, that does it for today's episode of Own Your Retirement with our host, Albert Lalonde.
Take care, everybody.